Yo, what's going on, man? It's Mr. Ugly, the ugliest man on the internet. Wow. Yo, I'm getting texts and shit. Hey, listen, I wanted to talk a little bit about this Cassie situation and Puff Daddy and all these things coming out, man. I don't know that I touched on this before, but this just jogged me a little bit. I mean, now I know I'm gonna get crazy comments and shit about this, man. Where I appreciate everybody that subscribed to my channel, subscribe to me, and I appreciate everybody who support me, man. Oh yeah, I ain't tell y'all too, man. So I had a I had I'm finally back seeing my therapist. Finally, like for real, like what year? Yeah, almost a year or a year. Yeah, so I'm back seeing my therapist. And I had a couple more episodes, man, of depression, and find out that, like, seriously, man, like, uh, people are telling me that I'm talking to myself now, like, more, and like now I'm doing it more in public too, cause like, and I had to catch myself. I was in Dollar General the other day, and I was on the aisle, and I know people talk to themselves like they just like, damn, I wonder where aisles the soap on. I'm going this aisle, like shit like that. But it was like I was like, someone told me like I was like in a conversation with myself, and I was actually talking back like, yo, wow, what aisle is the soap on? So I think it's on aisle two. Really on aisle two? Nah, it's not on aisle two. Man, you crazy? It ain't on aisle two. But I'd have been on aisle two. You ain't on aisle two, man. You ain't been on aisle two. Y'all been on shit like that. Like people was telling me I was talking like that, and I'm like, for real? They're like, yeah. Um, and also too, man. I just realized after the diagnosis that I really do have PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, because when I be in the gym, and I just realized this shit, when I be in the gym, I don't like being around a lot of men. Like, and I don't know if I told y'all that, but like when I was young, like maybe 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. Well, no, let me say this. Maybe 8, 9, 10. I was young. I wasn't a teenager when this particular incident happened, but 8, 9, 10, I was molested. And then when I went to, then when I turned 14, when I turned 14, I was molested again. I remember I was 14, getting ready to be 15. I was molested again. So I have a history of being molested, by family members, and I was molested by a preacher of my church, and then when I went into when I've done time in prison. When I first went into prison at 15 years old, I don't know if any of y'all know about this youth detention center in New York. It was in the Bronx called Spotswood. So I went to Spotswood, and I was sexually sexually assaulted. Like I was beat up. I was beat up, and like dudes like took my clothes off, and they was trying to like hold me down and have sex with me, and a guard came in and like stopped it, and then they put me in this holding cell, and then they because my crime was not really that bad. What it was, I was back then in the 70s, man. I was back in the 70s. The thing was robbing people for their shoes and coats and stuff, and I was with a bunch of guys, and that's what we used to do. We used to just go in New York, and I'm from Brooklyn, so we used to go all on Broadway, and then sometimes we go to Manhattan, and then sometimes we would go to Queens, and we just rob people for their coats and they sneakers and belt buckles, and back then Gazelle shades and shit, and just get back on the train and come on back home. So I got caught doing that shit like twice, and they sent me to Spofford. I did like 3 months in Spofford, but they released me because it was like Spofford was so crowded that they released me, and they released me after this incident. They released me, and then after that, um, I moved to Georgia, and now when I'm in Georgia, I'm going to church with my grandparents, man. Like Southern people, they real big on church and all that shit. And I'm going to church, and I'm in the South going to church, man. And the preacher at the church, over a period of time of me going to the church, um, he would ask me to help him clean up the church, and I would clean up the church, and he would touch me. Like, I mean, one incident, man, I was sitting down, we were sitting down talking, cause I was a bad kid, man, and now I realize why I was bad, because I had these issues. I had a lot of these issues, man, and I was kind of a bad kid. So my mother did send me down south to kind of calm me down. Thought the South would calm me down, but being the fact the South was so slow, I had more time to do shit. And I would break in people's houses, man. Back then, people left their doors open, and people would. And my thing was stealing guns. Like, I would steal people guns, and who actually put me on was crazy. Who put me on to that was my uncle. My uncle was still in New York, and my uncle would come to Georgia to buy guns. Now fast forward to the 80s. My uncle would My uncle would come to New York. I mean, my uncle would come down south to his. I was staying with his mother, which would be my grandmother, which would be my mother's brother. So I would stay with my grandmother in Georgia, and my mother's mother in Georgia. My mother's mother and father. My mother had a mother and a father. I would stay with my grandparents, my grandfather and my grandmother. And my uncle would come down to visit his parents, and he would buy guns and take them back to New York. So my uncle had told me one time, he was like, he was telling me about how to go in people's trucks and steal their guns. And I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, just go in the truck. Yeah, my uncle, he would tell me, like, just go in there, take the gun. So I would do it. I would go in people's trucks. Like, see, now we talking about in the 80s, early 80s, where white people, black people, everybody live safe. They would just have their trucks open, cars open, houses open, and I would go in their trucks and steal their rifles and shit. And I would hide them. And my uncle would come down and he would get them. That's what I used to do. But fast forward, man. So my grandparents found out that I was doing this. So the pastor they wanted me to talk to the pastor. So the pastor, he would have me stay over church. And then I just noticed that, he would put his hands on me. And he would like just be touching me, like on my leg. And then it started with my leg, and then in between my crotch. And then he would touch me on my private part. Like, I'd be moving his hand like, yo, shit like that. But he would just continue to do it. And one particular time, man, he was asking me about masturbating. He was like, do you masturbate? I was like, what? What is that? He was like, masturbate. I was like, what is masturbating? So basically, he was like teaching me how to masturbate. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, nah, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. I don't masturbate. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I was abused. I went through some trauma, man. And now it's like, and another thing too is like he used to like get me with gifts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Being the fact that, um, I was from New York, man, I liked clothes. And he would buy me clothes. And he would ride me in his car. And while we riding in the car, he would be touching me. Like, for these gifts, he would rub my private part. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So over time, I don't even like riding in the car with people, with men. Like, I don't, like, for real, like, I have a car, and I'm serious, I don't even like men in my car, like, for real. I don't even ride, I don't ride with men. If I ride with a man in the car, it's like, man, I really, like, desperately need to go somewhere. And in my car, I don't drive men around. I don't know. I'm serious. I don't ride men around. And now I say this because even in the gym, it's like, I don't like being around a lot of men. guys would tell you, man, too, if you was to ever come around me, guys would tell you, man, Malik don't be in that gym. He don't like going to that gym because ain't nothing but men in there. Like, I don't like going to the gym with a whole bunch of men at. Like, I don't, And bathrooms, like, if I go in the bathroom and I feel like a man is following me, because I'm going to be honest with you, man, there are a lot of weirdos. And I have been accosted by some weirdos in New York. Like, I've been in New York YMCAs, and like, I go in the bathroom and here's this weirdo in the bathroom. I've been in New York YMCAs, man, and I'm in the bathroom, and the shower's in there, and there's been masturbating while you taking a piss. You look back, you can hear the soap. What the fuck? And then open up, the man got a shower jacking off. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's how it should be, but like, so I don't even be like, I don't like being around a lot of men. I don't like being around a lot of men. That's why a lot of times if you hear me talk about entertainers when they be having a lot of men on stage, I always got something to say about that. Like, why entertainers be having so many dudes around them? Like, every time you see an entertainer, he got 100 dudes around him. Even when he go to perform at a concert or a club, it's 100 dudes on stage. Like, why ain't no females around him? So yeah, but I said all that to get into this, where okay, so with the Cassie thing, and another thing too, it's like, I hear a lot of men say that they're gay because they was molested. I always disagree with that philosophy, because if you were molested and you didn't like it, you wouldn't want it to happen to you again. And I'm that person. That I never want that to happen to me again. I don't like dingalings. I don't like no dingaling in my butt. I don't like no dingaling in my mouth. I don't like no dingaling in my hand, like another man's dingaling in my hand. Like, I don't like that. So why would you want to be, why would you continually want that when that was forced on you? Like, someone forcefully abused you and sexually abuse you, but you say that you didn't like it, but you like it. Like, didn't make no sense. I've been sexually abused. I've literally had a dude, like, I've literally had a cousin, like, put his penis in my mouth, like, for real, when I was younger, like, and I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying, like, but I did this, I was young, and living in New York, I had no brothers, so I would get beat up a lot. So my cousin was my backup. He was like my defense. He was the only person that was helping me. So this is the trade-off. Like, if you want these dudes to stop beating your ass, you want to suck my dick. You want these dudes to stop taking your clothes, you have to suck my dick. So that's what happened with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So over a period of time, then it was like, man, I just learned how to fight. And it was like, yo, I'm not doing this no more. Fuck that shit. And like, the last time he tried to do it, I can remember, I was like avoiding him. Like, nah, I'm good. I was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Nah. And like, that was it. And but I never told my mother. And I never told his mother. But how calm it is was, this particular cousin ended up going to prison and doing like 30 years for a murder. And he did a murder. He just got out of prison like 3 years ago. Like, he went to prison. He did like 27 years and got out on parole. Now I think he did 20. He had a 30-year prison sentence, and I think he did like 25 years, 25 to 27 years, and he got out. So he been out like 3 years. And you know what I'm saying? Say how calm it is, but yeah. But what's crazy is he called me, man. He called me. He got in touch with me, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he got in touch with me and was like talking to me like none of this shit never happened. And I'm like, but I'm talking to him like, yeah, man, yo, it's good, yeah. But what's crazy is he started talking about situations in New York that me and him were in. Like he'd be like, yo, you remember I took you to the movies and shit? Right around the time that he was doing this shit to me. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah, he's like, yo, man, that shit was crazy, man. I took you to the movies, man, that time. Man, them dudes acted up in the movie theater. Like, yeah. Then after that, you took me in the bathroom and made me suck your dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, type shit. Like, why is you? Yeah, he's like bringing up all this shit, like for real. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's like, then another thing, yeah, remember I came to your house with that girl that time, man. Yeah, man, that was crazy, man. Yeah, man, I ain't seen that girl in years. You know, he's like, yeah, man, I took you upstairs, yeah, and remember remember I had that girl, I brought that girl upstairs, and I took in your mother room, man. I had sex with her, yeah, and after you had sex with her, you made me suck your dick. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, like, bro, like, why is you reliving this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I talked to my therapist about that too, like a while back, and she was like, "Have you ever confronted him about it?" I was like, you know, honestly, man, I didn't, because he's there and I'm here, and we never had to see each other. But I know me, you know, I'm a man, and none of that shit made me gay. Like, I'm not gay. I don't desire to be with no man. I don't desire to suck no man off. None of that shit. So I'm good. But that's just a part of my life that happened. So I guess fast forward into Cassie, where I feel like, as when you're in a relationship with somebody. So okay. So now to the subject. I know it's 16 minutes. When you're in a relationship with somebody, I just feel like your bedroom behavior should stay between y'all when you're in a relationship with somebody. I don't think that Cassie was. I don't think Cassie should have put out her bedroom behavior with Diddy in an effort to, you know, do what she's doing, to scorn him and publicly humiliate this man. Now, it's different if, you know, they was just fucking around and, you know, boop boop. That's different. But you were in an 8-year relationship with this man, Cassie. So now for you to put out, now I would have put out the, now if he abused you, okay, yeah, he abused me, physically abused me. But him freak offs and him wanting you to have sex with men while he get off, like that shit, that's bedroom behavior. That's some bedroom shit. And I just don't think that shit was cool for Cassie to do that. And I don't think that's cool for no woman to expose a man that she was in a relationship with bedroom behavior. Because when you in a relationship with somebody, man, that you chose to participate in whatever they're in. Now, this is another reason why I tell people, when they in relationship, when they're talking to somebody, I always tell people this, man. I tell people this all the time. When y'all talking to somebody, y'all in y'all first stages of dating, be open about everything. And ladies, when y'all dealing with men, ask them shit. Ask them, are they gay? Don't be afraid. Just be like, hey, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you bisexual? Yeah, ask him. Because if you don't ask him, you can't be mad at him 6 months down the line when you find him in the bed with another man. You can't be mad at him because he could say, yo, you never asked me. You never asked me. And that's why I tell women, man. And that's why when I be in relationships with women, I'm open, man. I'm open. I tell them I'm open, bro. Like, and I think maybe that's another reason why I don't have relationships. You know what? Maybe that's another reason why I don't have relationships with women. Why I'm not in a relationship, because maybe I'm too open, man. And I just tell women what I like sexually, what I don't like sexually. I be open with them. This is what I like sexually. This is what I don't like sexually. This is what I would like for you to do, and this is what I don't like for you to do. And maybe that's why I'm not in relationships, man. Because I mean, honestly, with me, and like I said with y'all, man, I be transparent as fuck with y'all, man. I'm open. Like I'm open. I'm open to open relationships type shit. Like I've been swinger parties. I've been in full swap parties. I've been in all those type of shits, but it's like, you know, full swap parties where it's situations where I watch my woman have sex with another man while I'm having sex with his woman. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in situations like that, and I'm open to that shit because I just think that, you know, variety is what's helpful in relationships, man. Like I mean, really, man. And I think also too, like, variety in relationships keeps the relationship keeps it spontaneous, keeps it hot. And another thing is honesty. Like, and that's what happened with mine, was like the honesty stopped. Like, it started being sneaky, like sneaking around. And that's something too about open relationships and swapping and swingers. Like, you got to keep the honesty there, man. If you don't keep the honesty and the openness there and the honesty there, it's gonna fuck up, man. And I noticed too with black swingers and black swappers and shit like that, that it be a lot of sneaky shit going on. Like, I did swingers with white people, and it was like straight down the board, no bullshit. I talked to the man talked to me, the women talked to each other. The man never called her, I never called his woman, his wife or girlfriend. But with black couples, it's always, as soon as you go to the bathroom, the black dude trying to get your girl number. And I'd be like, oh, why the fuck? Like, she'd be like, yo, he trying to get my number and shit. Word. Like, why the fuck black dudes do that shit, bro? Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Or either she might go somewhere and she might see him. Like, yo, then he trying to holler at her. Like, why the fuck black dudes do that? But anyway, with, like I say, with this situation with Cassie, it's like, I don't think Cassie should have exposed their bedroom behavior. I think that shit should have been kept between them. That's something that Cassie should have not spoke about. Um, you know, and I think she did that. I personally, now, like I said, now I'm speaking as a man that's been abused. Like, so you can't say you don't know what she was. Yo, I've been abused, and I I went there, call my cousin's wife, and he's married now. I went there, call my cousin's wife, and be like, yo, your husband abused me. Nah, bro, like, bruh. Cause it didn't hurt, it didn't make me or break me. My mental illness stems from also too, when I was growing up, I was always called ugly. Like, I was always called ugly. So I was abused that's abusive. I was always called ugly. I was beat up a lot, like, because I was called ugly. And I was beat up a lot because I didn't have brothers. I ain't had nobody to help me, defend me. And I was always a small person. So I would get beat up, jumped. So all that stems from my mental illness. Like, my mother loved me. My mother did everything she could to protect me, but my mother couldn't protect me, man. I had to experience a lot of shit. Like, look, bro, like, I ain't ready to cry, man, but I just remember one time I wanted to be friends with these dudes, man. And I remember going up on the roof of my building, and we was on the roof of the building, and we was just up there, and we was throwing rocks down. Man, these dudes that I thought was my friend, man, these dudes grabbed me, and they held me over the roof. Was gonna drop me 6 stories off the roof, bro. Like, I was crying, I peed on myself and everything, man. And the drop that they was dropping me from was it was a terrace on the 6th floor right here. And if they would have dropped me, I would have just fell on this terrace. But I was screaming so bad that the people on the terrace heard me. The people on the 6th floor heard me, and they came out the terrace and looked up, and they screamed and told them boys, "Don't drop him! Don't drop him!" So the man and his son ran upstairs and made them pull me over. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that would happen to me. And also too, like I told y'all, like, man, my mother would buy me all the latest clothes, and I would get robbed for my clothes. Like, they would beat me up and take my clothes. And my mother would just buy me something else, and they would beat me up, take my clothes. And I never had, like I said, I didn't have brothers, nobody to protect me, nobody to defend me. It was just me and my mother. And my mother would literally like, I would tell my mother who took my stuff, and there'd be dudes on the block, and my mother would get a bat, and she would walk up the street, and she would knock on the dude's door, and she'd be like, "Your son stole my son, whoop the whoop." And the mother would be like, "What you talking about?" My mother would be like, "If you don't give my motherfucking son back his shit." My mother was really like with a bat. And then I remember my mother had bought a gun, and I remember one time this dude, I mean, one time this big dude, he was an older dude, he had to be a teenager, and I mean one time, I don't know if y'all know anything about sheepskins. My mother had bought me a sheepskin, and I had to be about 13, cause I didn't start robbing people till I was like 14, 15, cause that's when I started fighting back, and that's when I got with some dudes, and we started robbing people. But I remember some mother got a gun, man. My mother went on the block and put a gun to this dude's head. Told this dude, "You keep fucking with me, she gonna blow his brains out." And you know what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of that shit going on in my life too. You know what I'm saying? I was 25 minutes, but damn, I'm about to go live.